Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel, PokeMaineEvent here. Today we're going to be talking about Gouging Fire, my favorite new Paradox Pokemon to be added in the Indigo Disc DLC. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite one. I love Entei, so I love this thing. Really cool design. Really good typing, really good stats. We're going to get into all that. Question today, will Gouging Fire be middle, top, or low tier? Let me know what you guys think now, and then at the end of the video as well. So it's a fire dragon type, which is a great typing, meaning it's only weak to dragon, it is weak to ground, and it's weak to rock. It's not weak to fairy like most dragons, not weak to water like most fire types. It quad resists grass, so it's a good Rillaboom counter if you're looking for one. Its stats are 105 HP, 115 attack, 121 defense. Really good physical bulk. Special attack 65, but you want it to be low. You want that min max. Special defense 93, very respectable with the HP stat, and you can invest. Speed 91. It's a bit crowded in that speed tier right now, but you'd rather be like in the crowd versus like left behind if you have a Pokemon like this, because then you can kind of speed through stuff. So the first two sets are going to be very similar because the move sets are going to be very similar. Flare Blitz, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, Burning Bulwark is something that I had started with. I did change Dragon Claw to Outrage on the one I'm using, like on Showdown and stuff. Sometimes Outrage is a bit of a gamble, but maybe Dragon Claw is fine. The first set is a Clear Amulet set because Clear Amulet is just a good item right now because Intimidate has always been good, but it's really resurged with Incineroar being back. And this is not a Pokemon with the 115 that you want getting intimidated, even though its moves like Flare Blitz and Outrage are very high base power. You want to have dual stabs. Dragon Dance will then in turn give you attack and speed boost. And with Clear Amulet, they can't take those stat changes away, right? So once you get those stat changes up, it's basically impossible to drop without you switching them out. You can't Icy Wind it, can't Intimidate it, can't Parting Shot it, can't Scary Face it. You can only like Thunder Wave it, right? You can't even get like a Bleak Wind Storm drop because it doesn't drop the stats. So once you get that +1 and +1, this thing becomes like a really hard Pokemon to switch in on, to take hits from. The sets, I decided for this video to keep them a little bit more simple because you could just run like 252 Adamant if you want the much damage as possible. Conversely, you could go to Jolly if you want more speed and just want to use the +1 to carry your attack. Both of these speed stats at +1 will like outspeed just about every non-boosted Pokemon in the game. Yeah, just about all of them except maybe nope, it'll outspeed all of them. I think with this speed stat you get to like 214. And I think Dragapult is like 214 or 213. Dragapult's 213. Yeah, so with that speed stat on the Adamant sets, you will be able to outspeed like Dragapult. Yeah, which is like the fastest unboosted Pokemon besides like Alecki, but Alecki can't really touch you anyway because you're a dragon type. And that's with the Adamant set. With the Jolly set, you'll outspeed even stuff that's faster than your Adamant stat, but it's up to you completely. This set here, the reason it has safety goggles while this one has Terra Grass is because Burning Bulwark is a move that burns contact moves and it only protects from all damaging attacks, but Spore can still go through. Spore is kind of the most relevant one. All status can go through it, but Spore is the most relevant one, right? So I think Terra Grass to avoid those spores from like a Terra Amoonguss, and goggles like Terra Fairy, so Fairy is immune to all the dragon types that are popping up, and safety goggles so you don't get put to sleep. So I think those are two really good options. Yes, you can try to like Flare Blitz the Amoonguss, but at neutral, I'm not even sure if you KO necessarily, depending on the spread, and then Amoonguss is likely to Terra in front of you. And then with the moves, I have Flare Blitz here and Heat Crash here. I ran some calcs. Heat Crash is kind of like the same damage as Flare Blitz into most Pokemon. The two that I found that it does less into were Iron Hands and Chien-Pao, which are kind of important to be honest. I'm not even gonna hold you. That's kind of important that it does less to those Pokemon, but it's an option if you don't want to take the recoil. Heat Crash is very consistent and doesn't miss, and like I said, you don't take a recoil. Flare Blitz is very even, it's even more so consistent, but you do take damage back. Dragon Claw is not a great stab, but it's the most consistent single target dragon stab that it has. Outrage is infinitely more damage, but it does last 2 or 3 turns, so you have to make a choice for yourself which move you want to use. It does have other dragon stab, which we'll go to a little bit later. So let's go into the next set. So this one is a choice banded set. I would even recommend running this one in something like Sun, because it is a photosynthesis mod that actually does get not just the boost from Proto for Sun, but it also gets like Flare Blitz boost. So I think choice bands in Sun would already be so much damage, like even if it didn't have Proto. But then with Proto giving you that like life orb boost as well, you are gonna be knocking out things that even resist this, especially with an adamant spread, as you can see here. I probably would on this choice band set specifically, I'd run 252, 252. On one of these, I would maybe adjust it for just needing how much speed I need to outspeed certain stuff, maybe, and maybe investing some more in both. Your physical defense is so high, your HP is so high that most physical attacks are just not gonna knock you out, but there are some special attacks that can get you. And I think that's really important. But yeah, so the moves I chose for this one are Flare Blitz, Outrage, Temper Flare, and Earthquake. Temper Flare is a new move, power doubles if the last move fails. So it's like Stomping Tantrum in the sense that if you get faked out, and Stomping Tantrum does more the next turn, pretty sure Temper Flare works the exact same way. Flare Blitz and Outrage, because Flare Blitz and Outrage, or if you want, like I said, Heat Crash, they both do insane damage normally. And with Choice Band, they're going to be knocking things out. Temper Flare is here. I know like having 2 Fire Stabs seems odd, but my thinking was that with Choice Band, especially like in open team sheets, right? You're more likely to get faked out if you don't have Burning Bulwark. If someone sees that, they're more likely to fake onto your Choice Band Pokemon. But then the next turn, you hit like the Temper Flare button and you're doing 150 no recoil, right? Like that's more than both of these moves here. Earthquake is just if you want some spread, if you want to be able to like hit rock types for something super effective as well. Not really many rock types, but there is like Iron Boulder. So there is a rock type at least that you might want to hit. Some people might be trying to run like sand stuff again. So Tyranitar is there, something you might want to hit. But so Earthquake is an option. So yeah, it has Crunch. I don't think I'd use Crunch though. The only other thing I would maybe consider on this is like Iron Head. It's probably just Iron Head, to be honest, because I don't think any of this other, maybe Psychic Fangs if you're worried about hitting something like what's it called, Iron Hands. But I'm pretty sure like at 85 plus, like at double, pretty sure like it's not that much different than like Flare Blitz or Outrage with Stab. So it's kind of up to you. But this is kind of what I would think I would run on a Choice Band set. I would also, like I said, run this in Sun to get the Proto Boost, just to like cheat the damage calculator. Okay, so this one is a booster energy set. Because with Jolly, you actually can, this one I do recommend the Jolly. Because you get the 157 speed, which is going to outspeed a lot of the things in that jumbled up tier, like Goldengo, Rillaboom, and Urshifu. Depending if they're not running Jolly, then you will outspeed. Even if Rillaboom is running Jolly, you'll outspeed. Urshifu, if it's running Adamant, you'll outspeed. If you're running Jolly, you probably won't. But if they're running Jolly Urshifu, then their damage output is less, so they can't take you out anyway. So I think it's a kind of a win-win. And this Photosynthesis booster energy will give you the attack boost. So then you run your standards, Heat Crash, Outrage, or whatever moves you want there, Bulwark. And then I left this blank because that coverage is kind of just up to you. Because with this, you don't really need Dragon Dance as much because you have the Jolly nature. You have the Photosynthesis boost. I think it just is helpful to have coverage. So you can go with the Earthquake again. Like I said, you can go that. You can go Iron Head, and you can go Fangs. The Terra on this, like I said, I think most of the time is going to be Fairy. Unless you already have surefire ways to deal with Dragon types, I think Terra Fairy is going to be good. Now I think about it, Iron Head is probably actually really good because you're going to be facing a lot of opposing Terra Fairies that'll be immune to your Outrage. And depending on the weight, Heat Crash might not be enough. And then Flare Blitz, maybe you don't want to take the recoil. So Iron Head actually might be a good option to have on some of these sets because you're going to be facing a lot of opposing Terra Fairy. Just because those Pokemon know that a lot of Dragon types are going to be around. The next one, oh, before I even click to it, let me introduce it. So those are kind of like the most standard sets. I'm gonna go into like one supportive-ish set, but it's only because I like to do these for these videos. I go into a support set. I do something gimmicky just to have fun, like towards the end of the videos. So we're gonna be going to this, which is actually not that gimmicky, right? So booster energy, if you do your spread like this, or any other way that doesn't take your attack stat higher than 157. So you can even like drop it all the way down if you want, and go like all bulk. Yeah, you go like all bulk if you want or something like that, or like 244. You actually get a speed boost, right? So you get that Dragon Dance +1 where you're outspeeding everything. So now you can use like Breaking Swipe. The reason I didn't use, I mentioned having another Dragon Stamp earlier that I would bring up later. It was Breaking Swipe. The reason I didn't have Breaking Swipe on the attacking sets is because you want to be on an attacking set, you kind of want to be able to just click your stab anytime, right? I think Breaking Swipe is a better move for support when you know you don't have to click it, because there are going to be a lot of defiant Pokemon and contrary Pokemon and stuff like that. And you don't want to be forced to like proc that all the time, trying to get like your damage down. Yeah, you have Flare Blitz, but like you can't just like spam Flare Blitz all the time without taking yourself out, especially because you're not going to have any attack investment. So your Flare Blitz is not going to be doing as much damage as normal, just more so like something to pick things off that are like 40% health, 30% health. But the cool stuff is that it gets Howl and Dragon Cheer. I'm not saying you have to run both. I would actually probably recommend running one or the other. Howl is a +1 to yourself and a +1 to the teammate. Dragon Cheer increases your teammate's crit ratio by +1. I have a long thread on Twitter about how this works exactly with Terra and everything. So follow me on Twitter, which you can find in the description, and you'll see that thread. And there's a +2 crit to dragon types. So if you have a dragon type teammate, you can use Dragon Cheer with them, and also have the speed boost, which is kind of funny, right? Because you'll be outspeeding stuff. Or if you have a teammate that's a physical attacker and not a dragon type, you can just go Howl. Even if they are a dragon attacker, you can go Howl, because depending on how you want that to work. If you have something that's going to be spamming Draco Meteors, then this will help get those crits up. One of the things in my thread was that this crit rate for a dragon type plus scope lens is 100% crit rate. You will always crit every single time. And like I said, Breaking Swipe is to keep you guys alive longer. So like I said, I would drop one of these and run the Bulwark move. You know what, to be honest though, the Bulwark move is a good option, because they'll have to fake you out, and then they can get burned. Or you can just go regular Protect if you want to just avoid like Amoonguss. Or you can go like Terra Grass, right? It's kind of up to you. You can do one of those things. I think both are decent options. So you just kind of have to figure that out for yourself. But like this or Howl, Breaking Swipe, Flare Blitz for your own damage, because Breaking Swipe is not really doing damage anyway. It's base 60 and it's spread. It's not doing any damage. And then Protect or Bulwark, depending on what you prefer. More gimmicky stuff. Don't ever use this set in your life unless you're trolling or making like a YouTube video, because you're not gonna do any damage. Even at -252, your stat here is 128. So I actually need to change this to Life Orb. I meant to do, because your defense is so high that -252 does not go high enough to cover to overtake the defense stat. So even if you lowered your speed to under 128, you only get Photosynthesis booster defense. So it's not really doing you any good. It's like Life Orb, maybe Choice Specs, but I think Life Orb is better. This, like I said, don't ever use this set day in your life unless you trolling or making a funny video. Draco Meteor does do pretty good damage. It does get Heat Wave and it gets Scorching Sands, so you can like fish for birds with Bulwark, Sands, and Heat Wave. This Scorching Sands with Life Orb doesn't even KO Heatran. That's how weak this thing is on the special side. So like I said, don't ever run this unless you are just trying to be different. But I just wanted to throw something random in here for you guys. Oh, and the last one, this one is also a gimmick, but it's a different kind of gimmick. So you can just use Chesto Berry, right? Because you're not really worried about sleep anyway, because you're going to go to sleep on your own. Rest and Sleep Talk will keep you alive. And then with Outrage and Raging Fury, which is another fire type move, Raging Fury is basically fire type Outrage if you want to know what it does. But a cool thing that works like this, right? If you go to Sleep with Rest, you click Sleep Talk, and you get either Outrage or Raging Fury, you're going to attack once for 120 base power. And then you are going to be sleep next turn again, right? So you're not locked into it. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You're not locked into it. So you click Sleep Talk again, maybe you get another one. You get another big attack off. You're still not locked into it. So when you do wake up on turn 3, you can click Rest again, depending on how much damage you have taken. You can click another attack, which would be locked into because you're awake. But you also avoid confusion, right? Because you were sleeping when this went off and you didn't go 3 times in a row. So that's something that you could actually do. This is something I actually might try to see if I can make work for like a video at some point, because that's actually really funny. Like Rest, Sleep Talk, Outrage, Rest, Sleep Talk, Raging Fury. You could even go like, what's it called? Like another fire move if you want, just because there might be a lot of, it might be a lot of resist to Dragon with all the fairy stuff, with like Fluttermane gonna be around and a lot of Terra Fairy. So you could run a coverage move or just run 2 fire stabs. But I think this is fine. So yeah, you don't get locked in and it's really funny. This I do recommend as something to have more fun with. I think it'll be more fun than this gimmick set. I think this would be a lot more fun to do. It might be even harder to do because this one you just gotta click the attacks and hope for crits and hope for damage. But this one will do damage. It's just gonna be harder to get off. Anyhow, now that you got to the end of the video, will Gouging Fire be top, middle, or low tier? Let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, recommend a Pokemon down in the comments below. Thanks you being subscribed if you already are. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe because we do a lot of this stuff. RegF is around the corner. We're gonna be doing a lot of teams for that stuff. So we're gonna have a lot of fun in the channel. And all that good stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got channel memberships. If you want to be a member, go down below in the comments or in the description. There's a link to become a member down there. All that good stuff. YouTuber, I'm out. Peace.